Hello, Cougs. I'm Gunnar Miller here with Coug on the Clock.
And I'm Drew Amburgy, and today we'll talk Cougar football and the Mariners season,
along with MLB postseason predictions and Tom Brady's return to New England.
All right, let's get into the show.
All right, so with our first topic is Cougars. Our Cougars just came off a big win against Cal. The defense played very well, and the offense looked better, but still a little worried about Delores' 2 interceptions and his decision-making overall. What's your thoughts on the game?
Little rough by the offense. Obviously, Delora with those 2 interceptions, he does have some issues, keeping the ball. But the defense was lights out today, holding Cal to only 267 total yards, helping the Cougs earn their first win in Berkeley since 2013, which is kind of a big deal. Dickert's defense, he really has the boys playing really well right now. Obviously, coming off of that loss to Utah where they did play really well, it was nice that they could get us the win this week at Cal. Holding them to only 6 points, Jalen Watson getting a big turnover, and holding the Bears to just 3 of 15 on third downs. So that's a big deal for them. They did a really good side of the ball, and you know what? The offense just did enough.
Yeah. And with that, their next game is against Oregon State, which Oregon State looks really well. They're probably one of the better teams in the Pac-12 right now, which is really weird to say, but they just came off a big 27-24 victory over the UW Huskies. So you always got to appreciate that from them, but this week's different as we're playing them. So my prediction going into this game, OSU just looks too good. So I got them 24-20 over WSU, as sad as it makes me to say, but OSU just looks good. What's your thoughts on them?
Yeah, they have a really solid running attack behind B.J. Baylor and a little bit of Jack Coletto as well, too. The Beavers just look like a solid team.
Yeah.
They're having a really good season, obviously, coming in on 4-1, not 1-4, and actually receiving some AP votes last week. So they're definitely not a squad to mess around with, as well as their solid win over USC as well, too, a couple weeks to go. I think the Cougs hang around in this one, and I do think since we're at home and you got the mojo of homecoming as well too, being a Coug fan, it's tough for me to root against them. So I'm actually going to go Cougs in a close one, 21-17. But Delora is going to have to play well, and that defense is really going to have to play lights out next week and get the Beavs offense off of the field. If the Beavers are going to have some long drives, it's probably going to be a long night for us.
Yeah, that's very true. Knowing the fact Delore needs to play well against good teams, his turnovers have been costly, and we just got to make sure that we protect the ball and the defense just to play the same way. And with that, let's dive into the next topic with the Seattle Mariners season. A very good season for the Seattle Mariners they were projected only 70 wins this year, and they had 90. I mean, what more can you ask for from the Seattle team with a bunch of youngsters? But as sad as it made me that they didn't make the postseason, I had to say this team was not ready for the postseason with a negative 57 run differential. They're too young, and but for the first time, I can truly say I have hope after being eliminated for the future. How about you?
Yeah, I'm excited. First time hitting 90 wins in 18 years.
Yeah.
You got to be excited about that. They're not quite the lovable losers that we've all become accustomed to. And you know what? Their farm system is loaded. A lot of people have them as actually the best farm system in the MLB, but at the very least a top 5. They got a lot of really young talent. Obviously, there's a lot of guys that made debuts this year that had really solid seasons. You expect Ty France to make another jump. You expect JP to make another jump as well, too. So you got to be excited about the future here. And DePoto has quite a bit of money to move around if he does want to sign a big arm or another veteran throughout the year as well, too. So you got to love the direction of the Mariners right now. It's a room for a lot of excitement.
Yeah, definitely. This Seattle Mariners team has been one of the best that we've seen. And fun differential. You put that into effect. You also have youngsters coming up like Julio Rodriguez, like that batter. He's going to be one of the biggest faces for Seattle in the next coming years. So be prepared for that. My hot take, if the Mariners can get everything situated with all positions and pitching, I honestly could see this team taking the AL West. And that's a very hot take, as we've talked about earlier. But what do you think about that?
That's going to be a big jump. That's going to be a big jump. I just want to make the playoffs at first. But, honestly, they've got momentum. And you know what? If a team catches fire with a lot of young talent, a lot of guys that believe, I think it's a possibility. It's a possibility. I certainly hope it happens. And if, this team makes the right moves and guys take the right step, I think it's definitely a possibility. I also do want to say thank you, Kyle Seager. It looks like he'll probably be moving on.
Yeah.
Thanks for the last 10 years, man. You were a joy to watch, and we're going to miss you in Seattle Blue if you don't come back.
Yeah, Seager, you were part of my childhood for as long as I can remember. I mean, going to my first Mariners game when I was about 11, he was there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just crazy to think about. And with that, let's go into the MLB postseason.
Yeah, it should be an exciting one this year. We got a lot of teams that honestly have a shot.
Yeah.
You got the Rays, you got the returning champs and the Dodgers, the Giants coming off an amazing season, as well as a bunch of other teams that truly I think do have a shot. We watched the Red Sox take down the Yankees, so shout out to them. I'm always a fan of whoever's playing the Yankees. Crazy little one-game playoff we had there. Obviously, the Red Sox get the win. I think it was 6-1, correct?
Yeah.
Giancarlo Stanton missed a couple of home runs, but it should be a really exciting postseason. Who do you have going to the World Series?
My World Series pick is the Rays and the Giants. And I have these teams because with the Rays, they made the World Series last year. They have a solid team. They showed us again and again why they keep returning to the big stage. And after last year's disappointing loss to the Dodgers after taking Blake Snell out Game 6, which was one of the worst decisions in World Series history, in my opinion, they're going to be hungry to come back. And the Giants, they're hot. And they stayed hot, and everyone thought they were going to be bad after the All-Star break, but they continue to show us why they are the best team in the MLB right now. And statistically so, they have the players, if you think about it, it's kind of like a senior citizen party. And with that, my prediction is the Rays in 6. I feel like they're going to come out and just take this from the Giants as well as the Giants are playing. So what is your prediction?
So I agree with you on half of that.
Yeah.
So I do have the Giants going to the World Series as well, too. Frankly, it's just really hard to pick against a team that is that hot right now. They have not cooled off for months and months. The Dodgers, shout out to them, they got 106 wins and still couldn't win their division. That doesn't happen too often in baseball. Now, of course, I do think the Dodgers have a chance, and baseball is a crazy game. A team can catch fire and make it to the World Series, as we saw with the Rays last year. I do think, of course, the Rays have a really good shot, but I'm actually going to pick the Astros to make it to the playoffs.
Where are the trash cans at?
Now, I know. As a Mariners fan, it's kind of sacrilegious to pick the Astros to make it to the World Series, but I like their team. Obviously, they're loaded again. But I do have the Giants winning in 6. I just think they're having an awesome season this year, and I think they're going to take it all the way.
Yeah, that's a good pick. And like you're saying, don't ever count the Dodgers out. They have the pitching, they have the players. So, they could definitely make a deep run depending on what happens. But, yeah, definitely I like that pick on your part. And I guess we'll result with that. Not really much to say after that. We'll go into Tom Brady's return into Foxborough. Just a thriller. We got to talk about that.
So, even if the game wasn't close, this was going to be game of the week with all the storylines of Brady going back to Foxborough, him versus Belichick, all the fans there. It was going to be exciting no matter what. But the fact that we got a great game out of it just made it even that much better.
Yeah.
As you said, Mac Jones played amazing.
He really did.
He was awesome. What was the record he broke?
He broke the most consecutive passes from a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, that's pretty unbelievable. In the same game that Brady broke the record for all-time passing yards. So, it was just one of those games where it just felt like more than a game.
It really did.
Obviously, back and forth, coming down to the last second. Brady leading him down, taking the lead. Nick Folk trying to win the game for the Patriots. Just missed it.
Yeah.
I really wish he would have made that last kick because it would have been awesome to see Brady with a minute left charging down the field in Foxborough to see if he could do it one last time out there. But obviously the Bucs just overall a better team.
Yeah.
You know, they got more. They're just loaded kind of at every position. Although they are getting very thin at that DB position.
Yeah.
They were just kind of dropping like flies that night. But it was a fun game. Obviously, you got all those emotions, and I think, you know, the real star of the night was Steve Belichick with his facial expression. He kind of stole the show on Twitter and social media with his kind of outlandish looks. You know, when he gets that mullet, licking the lips, the beady eyes, he was funny to watch. But I don't know if anybody could overcome Brady on Sunday night.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Bill Belichick. I mean, he made the game plan to make Brady uncomfortable, and he did it. I mean, Brady was, I don't know if it was just that he was back home or his whole career started, which that could start all the emotions. But, like, Belichick just absolutely made the game plan, and it worked against Brady. And, I mean, that's all you could really ask for. And Mac Jones outperforming Brady stat-wise, I mean, that was crazy. Who would have thought that would have happened?
Yeah.
And especially in the pouring rain for a rookie against the defending champs. Like, shout out to you, Mac Jones. You might be the next big thing. We don't know.
I think Mac Jones is going to be good, and obviously with those DBs going down, he was facing kind of some second teams. I mean, Richard Sherman was starting for the Bucs. He wasn't even on their team a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
So kind of crazy series of events that happened to that. But it was a great Sunday night game and a nice way to cap off the football weekend.
Oh, definitely. I mean, definitely one of my favorite games of the year so far.
Easily.
So with that said, on this day of Friday, October 7th, the Yankees sweep the Pirates in the 24th World Series. And speaking of Yankees, Garrett Cole, you are not that guy.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
I mean, that wild card game was just horrendous. And as a person with most of his family being Yankee fans, I mean, it was hard to watch. I was rooting for him. And, like, I mean, I know you want to talk about the monster, though.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Giancarlo Stanton, I mean, geez, he's got to feel robbed. I mean, hitting two off the top of the green monster. In any other ballpark, Giancarlo Stanton is the hero of the night, and the Yankees might be moving on to the next round. So, yeah, that's got to suck for him. But Garrett Cole, tough night for him.
Yeah.
And like another guy that used to play in New York, Sam Darnold, it looked like Garrett Cole was seeing ghosts out there.
Yeah, definitely. And what's weird is, I mean, just the way he was performing, and then after all the sticky stuff was taken away, it just went downhill from there. But this Yankees team, it just, I mean, I had watched them most of my childhood. They don't seem like the same group of guys that we've seen in the past, and like the chemistry's just not there. And I mean, I don't know what's happening with the Yankees right now, and also the monster should have a Gold Glove this year.
He was the MVP of the night, but yeah, you're right. This Yankees team, it just doesn't feel like they have the guys made for the moment like they used to have back in the day. I mean, you know, with the Jeters, the Riveras, you know, all the clutch guys, the Boones and whatnot. You know, it just seems like, you know, Judge and all those guys, they weren't quite ready for the moment, and obviously Garrett Cole wasn't, and they kind of choked it away, sorry to say, Yankees fans.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting how they approach these next couple seasons with their older stars just coming down with it. But, yeah, moving on from that, I mean, that's all we had. Except, happy birthday, Mookie Betts. One of the best all-around baseball players we've ever seen.
Yeah.
From Boston to L.A., my man is performing.
Everybody loves Mookie. I think Mookie's one of those athletes with a very high approval rating to everybody. I mean, even Boston still loves him. But I know that the fans in LA are really appreciative to have him because he's a phenomenal player. I mean, a five-tool player, and he's going to have a great career, and he's already a Hall of Famer in my eyes.
Oh, yeah, definitely 2 Hall of Fame careers with both teams. And, yeah, I mean, with that, just a reminder, please follow Unorthodox.sports on all our social media accounts. And I'm Gunnar Miller with Coug on the clock.
And I'm Drew Amburgy.
Thanks for watching, and have a good weekend, Cougs.